Oh yeah, God's up shining through. I'm grateful for it. Grateful for it. In every star, in every flaw, I found my reflection. Oh, flawlessly perfect.
Welcome to Perfect Imperfections with Kalia Bell. I am your host, Kalia Bell, and here we share the tips, the tools, and the mindset that we use as we remove all roadblocks that are prohibiting us from walking in our purpose and living the life that God has for us. And I am so excited because today I have a special guest. Another one of my MMU family members is here with me. And for my listeners, two of my favorite topics are marriage and parenting. So I have Nayetta Holyfield of Let Kids Play podcast on the show today. Welcome, Nayetta. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me and inviting me.
I am so excited. So before we introduce you, I want to kind of just let you know why I was so excited and I had to have you on my platform.
Okay.
So I speak often and very transparent about my parenting journey. So I've been a parent for 25 years now. My oldest will be 25 and I had her at 18. So knowing what it takes to be a parent, I really did not understand. I'm now getting it at 42. 3 kids later. And so anything around parenting, I love to have these conversations because I think when it comes to parenting, when you have children, the assumption is that you know what to do and you don't always know what to do. And because you're a parent, it's difficult to ask for help because you're supposed to know what to do. And we were on a call, and this I'm going to allow Nayetta to take over now. Nayetta was explaining the services that she offers. And when she was explaining the services that she offers, my mind just was like, we need that. Why? Like, what's going on? Why didn't we have this for years? Like, what is happening? So, Nayetta, please tell the wonderful people what you do, what you're about, and your why. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited, by the way. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me and thank you for the introduction. So first I want to go back because like you said, the assumption is that we have it all together and that we're supposed to know. Parenting doesn't come with a manual, and then even if it did, it's wrong because every child is different, every situation is different. We're in different phases of our lives. So like you had your oldest at 18, but now you have two other kids. You're in different phases. You were in survival mode at 18.
Right.
You were still learning how to be an adult yourself, let
Right.
alone raise a child. So now that you're in your 40s, you're more stable. You have like the tools and the background knowledge and the wisdom that we sometimes, need to go through to learn. So give yourself grace because parenting doesn't
Yes.
come with a manual.
Right.
You won't get every situation perfect,
Right.
As long as you're doing your best as a parent and in that season of your life, you're doing amazing. So I just want to throw that out there. But I'm Nayetta, the mom playologist, and I help teach parents, moms specifically, how to play with their little ones. And what is play? So play is what the children do every day, all day, but specifically it's their love language. So a lot of people is controversy around play because in our community it's like, oh, they just playing all day, they're not learning this, that, and the
Right.
other, and I feel like we need to be driven academic wise. Like they need to be reading, they need to have a pencil in their hand, they need to sit down and do this. That's not developmentally appropriate for them. So what I teach moms how to play, learn through play at home, how to make it intentional. And not only are they learning while they're playing, when you work with me and we make it purposeful and intentional, you're also creating that bond for them, because there's a communication issue between the parents and the children now, as far as the teenagers and young adults. So it starts before 5. It starts
Yes.
before 5. So I really come in and help parents set that foundation for their little ones so that by the time they're 5 in kindergarten and going through life, they all always has that foundation to refer to, because you can't build when you're at the 12th level,
No.
meaning at 12
Yeah.
years old. It starts before 5, because they're sponges, their brains learn so much and so many skills are developed before 5 that we miss over that completely, trying to focus on the academic parts of it to prepare them for kindergarten. So that's what I do. I offer coaching services. I don't like to call it coaching, because I'm there to support you. Moms are
Mhm.
parents, because I don't want to exclude the dad, but I specifically work with moms. I don't mind the dads. Don't come for me. I was raised by a single dad, so I
Oh, love
honor
it.
the dads. But I specifically work with moms because that's what I'm familiar with. I'm a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's who I cater to. But we provide that support for the moms. So we help you create your routines. We help you figure out, like, okay, I'm reading this book, but I feel like they're not like learning, or how do I read this book to them? What skills do I need to help them develop? How do I teach them to hold a pencil? Because you don't just throw a pencil in your little one's hand. You
Right.
want to develop, the fine motor skills, by having them play with Play-Doh and things like that. Or how do I just keep them focused for 15 minutes so that I can drink a warm cup of coffee or tea,
Right.
So
Yeah. I love it. So listen, listeners, you see why I had to have her on this program, right? Because even when after the call, I was so impressed by what you offered. Like, I went and I told everybody, I was like, this girl in my community, she has this program, and everyone is just like what? Because it make, how it's like you create, like whoever created sliced bread, it's like you needed it, but you didn't know you needed it. And then it's like, where was this when I really needed it? And and this is for any parents or soon to be parents. Parenting is not an easy task. And, you'll go on social media and you will see all these perfect parents. And I would, that was something that would bother me because I was comparing myself to quote unquote perfect parents. But again, you live and you learn, you grow and
they
you
this.
understand. Yeah, they don't exist. Oh, your kids are going to end up in therapy. I promise you, no matter how good you are, they're going to end up in therapy, no matter what. So it is so important having that start. With my children, all 3 of them, I'm going to be transparent. None of them had a schedule. None of
Yeah.
them had like a plan. None, like, like the first 2, and what kind of woke me up, especially to the services that you offer, my first 2 were able to not have a schedule, and not like they were able to function on that. Our last son, he has a superpower. So he has the superpower of ADHD.
Okay.
And having that superpower, you must have a schedule. It will change your life when when you don't have a schedule, but when you do, you must. And because we did not start that with him, and it was kind of just the habit that we did before, not knowing, because also when your kids, another thing that I like to let parents know, some of these superpowers don't show up until they're a little older. So not starting the schedule at 1, and then now understanding the superpower, now trying to hone in on that superhero at 6. This is all I can say. This is all.
I have a 7-year-old, so that 6 to 7 phase is different. Superpowers and all that phase is different, and that's what I like. I'm not a certified teacher, but I study this because, like I said, I was raised by a single dad. So my mom left when we were 7, and she's pretty much been on drugs my whole life.
That's another
So
episode. We'll come back to that on another episode.
I've never told anyone, so you got the exclusive.
Oh, wow.
Starting to share. So that's where my passion for not necessarily making sure I get it right, but making sure that I'm my best self as being a mom, because we're their first teachers. So I study a lot of different parenting books and how to communicate with my kids. just to reduce that trauma. Because, like you said, they're going to have therapy because we're not going to get it right. But I want to reduce the things that you have to recover from in your 20s and 30s, like trying to find yourself, like being able to express yourself and communicate. Because I find a lot of me and my friends in our generation as a whole in our 30s and 40s, we're going back to things that should have been done in our childhood. We're trying to find ourselves. We learn to communicate. We're building our confidence. So all of that is done through play, and it's kind of done before 5. So like you said, with your son and his routine and his schedule. So I also help parents kind of look for those things in their kids' personality, because by the time they're 6 and 7, it's formed, it's done, and you just develop on it. So looking for those key things and keening in on their interests so that you understand your child, so that when they are a teenager, it's not that big struggle and headbutting type thing. And nowadays, like you said, you have a 6-year-old. I have a 7-year-old. So we're starting to get into that phase, but it's a little bit better because at 1 and 2, I couldn't dress her. She wants to put on a princess dress all day. So now I know when we go to the park and she looks like she's going to a fashion show, I understand that. So it's not a fight. Like, this is who she is.
Yes.
So just understanding those things as well.
So now my son is 10.
Okay.
I started to put him on a schedule at 6.
Okay.
And that is where, let's just say he's 10 and we still fight at 9:30 to get in the shower. But had we started earlier or had a service like yours, that would have been helpful to do that. Because here's the thing also, as a working mom, and I'm not making this is not excuses, this is just being transparent. Judge me in the comments if you want. I don't care. This is my platform. I use this for my therapy. This is my therapy.
Safe zone.
Right, safe zone. So having the 2 older ones, working full time, then dealing with I was struggling with some mental health issues, depression, anxiety, that didn't show up well in the household, affected my marriage, like just a lot of things. I had no time to put a baby on schedule. You go to sleep when I go to sleep. It was that kind of energy. And had I had what you, not even knowing, because again, we never had children with superpowers or anything like that. So outside of the obvious superpowers like autism, nonverbal, let me just say nonverbal autism, or Down syndrome where you can physically see it, which I think that a lot of parents also get confused with, because it's like, I don't see that, so I don't know. But not knowing it's a superpower until it's 6. And it really got harder. It got harder.
Because the foundation has already been set before they reach that age. And that's the biggest, I want to say, issue, but it's not necessarily an issue. It's just a hidden thing, because all of the resources, even for superpowers and things like that, they aren't provided until kindergarten. And most of the support isn't provided until kindergarten. And that's why I came in, like, even just regular activities for the kids, like the trampoline parks and maybe like art classes and stuff, all of it caters to kids 6 and up. So I'm like, we really need to cater to the kids before they're 5, because this is where it starts. And I mean, not to say working with me is going to solve all your issues, because I have issues with my 11-year-old getting in the shower, and we've been doing this since so you're going to get that pushback. And right now he's struggling with an identity thing. So I don't know who he is, but I know that our foundation has been set so that he can come and talk to me about what he's dealing with. So I struggle too as a parent. Like, I 3 kids, 3 different phases. the struggle boat can be real some days. So
Listen, and again, this is why having that support, having someone like you
yes.
come in and having even your podcast and your platform, even if you're not maybe not able to necessarily work with you directly, but your podcast and having these conversations are so helpful. Parenting is like a conversation that is so taboo. And it's such something where no one wants to talk about it. And again, because if you're a quote unquote bad parent or make bad decisions, you feel so inadequate, as a parent. But I know it's important to have these conversations, to even have you uh let kid play expert still say I have challenges and struggles,
Yeah.
and this is your expertise,
Yeah.
you know.
This is something I've been studying since my little one was born, and just like really keening in on his interests. And like I said, I wasn't raised by my mom. Like even when she was in the house up until I was 7, it was still like a not a bond, a relationship. I wasn't allowed to go in the kitchen. I could not like talk to her. It was a whole like jealousy thing because I was a daddy's girl, and just her mental wasn't
Yeah,
there at all, and it's still not there. So I knew when I had my kids, like before having kids, I had a foundation and a mind frame, and it probably was a traumatic thing going into it at
yeah,
first. Of this is how I'm gonna raise my kids. I'm gonna make sure I have their best interest. And I lost myself in the beginning because I was working when I had my first son, the anxiety, depression of always trying to get it right and be
yeah,
perfect and try to avoid my childhood traumatic issues and things like that. So just taking a step back and really doing the research on how to properly like talk to your kids. And most of it wasn't necessarily how to talk to them so they would listen. It's me and how I'm vocal and
yeah,
me getting myself together as far as my anxiety, meeting my needs, and it translated over into the parenthood part of it. So that's a big thing, like you said, with your first two. Some of the things like the anxiety and depression transferred over into the household. If we get ourselves together first and have that
yeah,
support, because there's no village anymore. There's no village.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know about everyone else, but for me, there's no village. The village
Hmm.
is they want you to be there. Like my parents want me to be their parent. So there's no village to help support me in my household. So just being that support system for the moms, letting them know like you're doing a good job, and don't think that I'm going to judge you because I'm not perfect and I was raised. I've seen not perfect moms. So to
Hmm.
me there's no such thing as a bad mom. I've seen the worst. Okay. So if you're coming to me, you're nowhere near what I've seen.
Love it. And it's funny that you brought that up. That's actually perfect because I'm on this faith walk, and and I know that there's no accident. So I was so excited to talk to you and have this recording, but it was just confirmation based on what you said, because I actually came across the post that I was going to present to you, and you just pretty
Okay.
much just touched on it. But
Okay.
it was the podcast. I can't think of the two brothers. They actually came to the morning meetup one time, and it was a woman on the post, and she pretty much said, um when the mother is healed, it reflects better in like the kids and in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a healed mom, and to your point, that you don't take away the dad's position, because I've even said this. I find that when it's like an absent mom, or like an absent mom shows up way differently than an absent dad,
Mm-hmm.
or so that healed aspect of parenting. Like, talk on that, because as you stated, you said that you've dealt with some of the issues with your mom when you were younger. So, and not wanting to transfer that off to your children. So kind of touch on that, because I know for me, when I first had my child, and I did not think about healing. I didn't know anything was wrong with me. I was 18. Again, I was 18. I wasn't
Yeah.
even really an adult. And, you know, it wasn't until, again, I went through my healing process of 2022. So I have a 20-year-old, I have a teenager, and I have a double-digit kid. And now I'm like, my issues have affected them.
Mhm.
And I don't think that we really, because we're trying to protect them from some
Yeah.
of our trauma, it still shows up. So touch on that. Touch on the importance of that from your position, because again, you had, you know, how you grew up, and then you being an expert in helping parents.
So my healing journey was kind of forced to start early. So, like I said, my mom left, but also with my dad being a single parent, he had a village. Thank God my grandparents lived next door, but my dad was an absent dad because he was working and he didn't have that emotional connection. So there was no conversations with us. So I had to figure a lot of things on my own. And my healing started at like 18 and 19 because in order for me to actually go into adulthood, I had to forgive some things my dad did growing up because we grew
And
up
you
in.
know this at 18 and 19?
Yes, because I mean, so
Wow.
I had to mature very fast because I'm the only girl. It's two boys, my older brother, younger brother. We're a year apart, and it's my dad. He's not home. He's working two, three jobs, just trying to provide, and still wasn't like making ends meet. Sometimes the light was off. Sometimes we didn't have
Yeah.
groceries. And I started working at 15 to help put food on the table, pay my senior fees, pay my little brother's senior fees, buy clothes, like just do prom stuff because I became a mom before I was a mom. Let's just say that.
Mm. And a lot of women in our community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to heal because my first thought of healing was when everyone was excited that I graduated high school, and I'm like, why are y'all excited? Like, I'm a nerd. Why are y'all excited? Why are y'all surprised? But like, my mom didn't graduate high school. My grandmother didn't graduate high school. Neither one of them. So, and then given my mom's history, even before I was born, she was on and off drugs. So everyone was excited for me. So that was my first trigger of we not about to do this. We not about
Wow.
to do this. So in my mind, I wasn't gonna have kids since I was 30 to make sure that I was financially, mentally, emotionally, everything was good. So I had my first child at 22. And when I had him, I was in the army. So I was kind of still trying to heal from my childhood, but then I had things in the army that I needed to heal from. So when I had my daughter, in 2017, I was getting out the army. That year, had my class reunion, all this stuff. It was just a traumatic year. But that was the year that I realized that, okay, my son made me a mom, but my daughter made me a role model because I have to fix this
Mm.
cycle that we have as females in our family. So that's really when I got intentional about healing. I started going to therapy. I started seeing a psychiatrist. And to be honest, they wanted to put me on medication, and I'm like, we're not doing that at
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
time. So I started like working out more. I started eating better and just doing things to make sure my mental was okay because I was going into a stay-at-home mom. I told you I've been working since I was 15, so that's a mental thing that caused some marital problems.
Listen,
On top of
that's another episode for another day. We got a whole lot of episodes to follow up on.
that's a lot, okay? I'm at peace because I choose to be. It's very
Hello.
intentional.
Yes, yes, I
but
love it.
but my daughter making me a role model is really what started the healing process of making sure I have someone outside of my husband to talk to. So that's where, and my friends, so that's where the therapy came in. That's where the intentional, holistic approach of making sure my mental was put together and making sure that I deal and unpack some of the things. I'm still not fully healed. I still haven't unpacked all of the things, but I've unpacked the things that I've chose to deal with and be intentional about showing up to be the best version of myself so that I can be the best wife and mom that I need to be. So
Can I
That's
just
what
say that God has a covering over your life? I just feel it in my spirit. Like
he does.
I just always say, when you cannot see what someone has gone through, your spirit, I mean, never knowing, I've been in the community for a year. Nayetta is definitely MMU all-star. So, her name is flown around, her energy is flown around, but not knowing any of that, and hearing that you do not look like what you've gone through. God has a covering over your life. God has a purpose for you. You were put on this earth for something great, and I am so grateful. Listen, I feel like, I feel like I was in North Carolina when Jordan was playing. Like I'm on Jordan's I'm on Jordan's college team right now, so I could say I played with Jordan when he was in college, so it's a blessing that I am able to say that I had you on my podcast at the beginning, because I already know you're about to take off, your services and everything. And again, your story alone, because for you to be so young and be that self-aware, even though you had to grow up, there's still a lot of women that I know with your story that ending is not your story.
I mean, I seen it. I grew up in the hood. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Inky Johnson, but we grew up in the same neighborhood, Kirkwood,
Oh,
old
okay.
Atlanta. So the Roaches and the Rat story is real. 50 million people in the house. It would have been our story had my grandmother not, like, she bought two houses. So we had two houses next to each other, her house and our house. And she
Oh,
bought that house just
wow.
in case her kids needed something. So my grandmother is who I look up to because she set the foundation for my mind. But outside of that, I've
That's a
seen people
blessing.
in middle school pregnant at 12. Like
Yeah.
I seen the stuff I did not want. I knew I did not want this. Almost everyone around me was pregnant before we got to high school. So I just seen stuff that I
That's a
did not
blessing.
like. I had the best examples of what I did not want to go into. So I knew I was different. Me embracing that took a while. That's where the healing came from. So me being aware, I was aware that I was different. It just took me some time to embrace that because you naturally want to fit in into your environment. But like even now, like I don't drink because my mom's an alcoholic. Like I stopped
Mm-hmm.
drinking on my 21st birthday. So
Oh, wow.
I started to stop. So it's just those things. I had the best example of what I did not want, and I had those examples early. So my 20s look different from everybody else's. So yeah, that's it. I
That
was
is such
forced
a
to be
blessing.
self-aware. I
That
was
is
forced
such it is so beautiful to me. It is so beautiful to me.
now.
Because, well, obviously now, obviously now, I'm sure as a child, but and when I see women like you, or I see men also that had those kind of stories, and then the triumphant, where you're on the other side and you're building, you're growing from that, and you've pretty much nurtured a multi-million-dollar brand based off of your experiences. It is a blessing to me because you look like me. And, this is just continuing the story of our ancestors that paved the way for us to get there. Their struggles were hard and everything like that, and they still pushed through. And we have the freedoms that we have now. So I kind of see that in my brothers and sisters that have these stories like this, because you could have took your situation and been at the bottom of a bottle like so many others, but what you said was, I'm going to take this, I know what I don't want, and I'm not going to pass this on to my children. And I have a saying for our platform specifically. It's okay.
I don't talk about it much. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Listen, this is a platform to we're perfectly imperfect. This is where we talk about our
Perfect name.
imperfections. Perfectly imperfect. We're not perfect, but we're just living our imperfect lives as perfectly as we can.
Yeah.
And as I stated, no, I can't imagine what you're carrying, but you don't carry it into the world.
No.
And that is a blessed thing, because I do believe we start healing the world within our home.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing and transferring that to your children is making for a better society.
Yeah, and that's where I want to step in. And I feel like I probably should share my story more, but like we don't have to put all of that on our babies. Let these kids play, let them enjoy their childhood. Like I tell moms, okay, you don't like going outside. Guess what? I don't either, but we're outside playing with rocks for 2 hours. Why? Because that is what my kids need. That's what they express to me. And I mean, so not to throw race in there, but we always say like white kids get to do this versus black kids get to do that. They are provided certain opportunities, but we also shield our babies from certain opportunities. So we have to change, and we have to get out of our way, let our egos go, let our trauma go, let all of that go. If the babies want to go outside, put your slides on, put your raincoat on if you need to, or watch them from the watch them from the screen door. I don't necessarily like it either, but I'm gonna go do it and I'm gonna enjoy it. And that's where the play comes in. Let the kids lead, because if you let them lead, you're creating their problem solving issues, they're being creative, you're raising innovators. And it's always said like my kid can't think for themselves. You don't let them. So that's
This is good.
that's
Oh, this is good. This is a good. This is why I did not want to rush this episode. This is exactly why I said I didn't want to rush this. I already knew it in my spirit, Nayetta. Like
you did. You were
I
sending me
like
2 days early.
I was ready. I was ready. Like, can we start? Like, I knew, and I definitely you will be. I'm gonna ask you to come on more often, because I just want to have conversations with you and just pick your brain, period. But to the point where you were saying about letting the kids play, when I had my daughter, I was younger. So we were outside, we were in the streets, we were in those Harlem streets, okay? You hear me? We was and again, being young, I did things that I wanted to do. So
Yes.
we're in the street doing things that I want to do. My daughter was a Harlem baby. She was in the street. We were outside, but we
Yeah.
were doing things that I wanted to do. And then when I had my second son, he's 17 now, and he's amazing. And I thank God for him every day, because I say to be a middle child and the parent that he had, he should be driving me crazy. He should. He deserves to stress me out, because I did it to him. But he's amazing. I thank God for that. So by the time I had him, I was tired. We wasn't going in the street. We staying at home. We watching movies. I'm gonna make
We
it a
learned
fun
our
night.
lesson about being in the streets.
We learned our lessons about being in the street. So now we in the house. But my superpower kid, he if he's not outside, he's gonna burn the house down.
Their body yearns to get outside.
Yes.
Like you have to get, like it's raining right now. My baby is probably still gonna go in their backyard at least for 10 minutes, at least.
I love that. I love that. And I just love that the idea of what I miss and I'm catching now is this is their childhood.
Mhm.
This is their childhood. You only get one child. You'll have an adulthood for the rest of your life, but your childhood is one small. Because honestly, once you hit 16, 15, a lot of that innocence of being a kid kind of goes out the window as you
Yep.
start getting older,
Yep.
and unfortunately, some kids, as they get older, life happens and they're dealing with trauma of passing grandparents and things like that. And that usually average is around 13, 16. So they're dealing with that. So really, it's like a small window for them to
It
be
is.
innocently free as a child.
Yep.
And now I'm like, now I'm doing the reverse. But it's never too late. It's
It's
never
never
too late
like
because
it's
we're
never
all kids.
like we just have to embrace it. Go play touch some mud. Like I was playing in the mud a couple of weeks ago because like I said, I do all the messy stuff and I do what I encourage other parents to do, but I don't necessarily like it. I'm in the office, read a book type of person. And I know that sounds so crazy,
I
but
love you, Nayetta. I love you. I
like
love you.
I'm not a naturally play in the mud girl. Like growing
Mhm.
up, I would go outside, but I'm gonna sit on the porch. It's safe on the porch. Like nobody's gonna chase me. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna talk to people because they're crazy. Like I'm gonna sit here.
Having a good time over here.
Okay. So I'm not naturally playing the mud girl, but I will play in the mud with my babies, and it's so refreshing. It reminds me, I have them calling it grounding now. So I don't know if you've heard of it, whether people may take their shoes off and
Yeah.
just sit outside in the grass, or even walking on the beach without your shoes, or having your hands touch something that's in nature. It is so refreshing and relieving. It's like I get why y'all want to play in the mud. So even us just going outside and sitting outside for a minute, like your body needs that. Your mental capacity needs that. With all the stuff we're dealing with as adults, y'all, we need to go play too. So it's not
Yes.
just the kids, but it make
Yes.
once you, I tell the parents, once you play and realize how much fun you're having, imagine what your kid is feeling. Like that's changing their whole childhood because you just release so much emotional stress from their little bodies. Like we
Mhm.
can take it, but they can't.
Yeah. And my youngest, again, I keep going back to Carter because he's the one that still kind of needs all of this.
Hmm.
And there are times as an entrepreneur where I'm just like, he's like, can we do something? And I'm like, I am literally in the middle of sending this email, and doing something, but a part of me, the mom guilt, I go back to when I wasn't being attentive and things like that. So then I stop. So having you, having someone like you will help balance that, help
Hmm.
help balance that because it is so important for children to play. I see his energy, I see how exciting he is. 10,000 things could have happened in school. The only thing that he's going to tell me about was recess. I missed it. All I'm going to hear about is his playtime. And, making sure that he has that to stay a kid,
Hmm.
to keep that kid like, um, that kid,
Spark.
that innocence. Yes, that spark.
Mhm.
It's funny that you said about the grounding because just the other day I was walking. I walk now at therapy and to lose weight. But the other day I was walking and I was like, I think I want to hug a tree. And I was like, what's going on? Where is this coming from? I think I want to hug a tree.
You're at peace.
Yeah, I was such at peace. I'm like, I just want to hug a tree. I didn't do it, but I think I'm gonna definitely do that. But getting Carter outside more is it's still something that I'm still working on
Hmm.
because I am very park removed. So again, my daughter. So all you non-park parents, if your kids, I will say this, if your kids are under 10, go to the park. So
Hmm.
go to the park. Just do it for the kids. But I'm far removed from the park. So now, we do museums.
Hmm.
And like the other day we went to a book signing, which was I was really excited about doing that with him. That was really dope.
You're
So
in New
just
York,
not no, I'm in Maryland, but
Maryland.
I'm from New York. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we went to a book signing in Virginia, a
Okay.
Black author. So that was dope. Him able to see a Black male author and he's writing a
Yeah.
book. So finding things that touch on his creativity and not what we want to do. And
Yep.
we're going to homeschooling. So my last episode I had with Samaria, who is
Okay.
homeschool gang.
Good game. Yep.
Yes, yes. So we're doing homeschooling going into middle school.
Okay.
So I'm definitely going to be tapping in with you on some fun stuff.
I got a whole bookshelf.
I
This is
I'm
just
building
this is just
I'm
the
building this
activity book.
homeschooling community. Do you hear me? I am. Listen, it takes a village. You said we are now creating our village. We are
Yep.
now creating our village,
Yep.
and you will be part of this village because, like, I'm laughing and I'm having a good time, but really, honestly, one of the things that has affected me most, anytime I talk about my kids, I get emotional, and it's just because I look at them now and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful of who they, anytime I talk about my kids, I get here. I'm grateful of who they are and I'm grateful of how they love me. But when I look back on mom guilt, and I do give myself grace, these tears are just like, damn, it's just like a damn kind of thing. It's difficult.
It
It's
is.
difficult. And it's not too late because my baby is 25, but she's still calling me for doctor's appointments. So she's still a baby. And I'm not above asking for help. I'm not above asking for help. I want my kids to live a healthy, whole life, knowing that their parents love them, knowing that they can be the best that they can be and be happy.
Yep. Yep.
And you're gonna help me.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. You just got to be willing to step out your comfort zone, because that's the first step, like stepping out your comfort zone. Like right here, I'm in my office. I got paint. Paint is. I got puppets, anything, like, and so it's like it's giving yourself grace, but you're gonna always have mom guilt. You just want to make sure, at least I always say at least 15 or 20 minutes out of your day, you're intentional about making them feel important. And even with your 25-year-old, next time you see her, just give her a hug. Give her a hug. Y'all
I
go
do. She's such
go
a
once.
baby.
Because I mean, it's a lot of parents that don't do the hugs. Like
Yeah.
give your child the hug, and that's I almost want to start a series like, when's the last time you gave your child a hug? Because I talked
It's
to
10
my
p.m. Have you hugged your child today? We could do that.
seriously.
Remember that commercial? It's 5
I don't.
p.m. You don't remember
Oh
the commercial?
no,
Remember the
I don't.
commercial? So at 10 o'clock on the TV, they used to have it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
I've heard of that. I'm not a big TV person, but I've heard of that.
Okay, yeah, this is old. This
Um,
is old school. This is way
I'm
back in the
not.
day.
I'm not a big TV person, movie person. I get talked about.
Okay.
My husband
It's
pull my black card.
Listen, I'm like, well, you're in your 30s.
Yes, I'm 34.
Oh, you wouldn't remember that.
Okay.
Then forget it. It's for us older, it's for our senior people. But there was a commercial that would come on at night, and for some reason it was a commercial reminding parents where their children are. I don't know why. But
Because they were outside by themselves and the parents.
was in the house at 10 p.m. It came on every night at 10 p.m. and it would say, "Do you know where your kids are?" So that's something that you could do off a spin, because have you hugged your children today?
Or have you took them outside? And that's the biggest issue with the shift, like what you said. Do you know where your kids are? So the parents back in the day didn't have to go outside with us. Now we do, because it's a safety issue, and that's where the issues are coming in, because we're like, oh, we used to go outside all the time, 2-3 hours, and play. These kids don't go outside anymore. Well, you have to go with them now. You shouldn't have your babies outside by themselves. It's just not safe. So you, like you said, you need to send this email or something. Sometimes I take my tablet out with them. If we're not doing that intentional time, I'll take my iPad out with them. I have a little picnic table, or like we have a trail. I'll take me a little stool, because they'll play on the trail for two hours. There's a bridge, there's rocks, there's trees. It's just all in nature. And like I said, I'm not really feeling it. So I'll take my I'll take my stool, and we just sit out there, and we may write. Like, I'm intentional about some of that time, but I'm not intentional the whole 2 hours. And I think that's where the mom guilt kind of comes in, because we're like, oh my God, I spent so much time, or I spent 8 hours at work. and I have to do dinner, I have to do clothes, all this stuff.
Yeah.
They just need a small window of your time of being intentional with them outside of the things that you have to do. Like right now, we're on the podcast. I'm going to be intentional about this next hour or so with my babies because I have two here homeschool. And so today it's like a half a day, so to speak. So yeah, we just have to be intentional about our time with them. And it doesn't have to be a lot, just 15, 20 minutes out of our day, or just giving them a hug. They have so much going on at school, just giving them a hug.
I love that. I promise you. Again, I've been at this parenting thing for years and I'm learning. I'm sitting here like in awe. I'm hanging on to your every word. Like, and honestly, what I love most about this is the fact that you are being honest and saying, I don't love it either. Because, it's like all these wonderful parents that just enjoy swinging on swings and digging in dirt. I salute you. God bless you. That is not me.
It's
That is
not,
not me.
but it's when you so a lot of people say you shouldn't put your kids first because you lose yourself. I don't necessarily put them first. I put their intentions first and their purpose first. So I know what my purpose is. I know what my passion is. My passion, like little ones are naturally drawn to me. Like if I'm in a room full of families, I'm probably going to talk to the kid before I talk to the adult, which sometimes will come off as creepy, but that's who I'm naturally attracted to, and they're naturally attracted to me. So being intentional about my kids' love language, 'cause we have to be intentional with relationships in our marriage. So let's be intentional about our kids. Like my husband likes anime. That's not me at all. But I will watch it. We can look it up. We can talk about it. So I'm gonna do the same thing with my kids. You want to go out here and play in this dirt? Cool. Let's go play in the dirt. We're going to play in the dirt. Or like the museums, I love to see kids learn. I love
This
to
is
see
so
kids
good.
explore. So I put that above me not wanting to go outside or me not wanting to go do this or do that because I would love to sit in the house and read a book.
This is so good. This is so good because I definitely was, I don't want to do that. We're not doing that. And there's
But
so there's
tell
a
them.
there's a woman that I grew up with, Petrie. I'm gonna send her this clip of this video because she has two daughters, and I'm always going on and on about how wonderful she is with her when it comes to her daughters. Because her daughters get to choose the movies that they watch. They
Mm-hmm.
get to just do whatever that they want in the realm of, respect and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were in dance, they were in cheerleading, they
Mm-hmm.
constantly go on, trips together. She's always at the park. So her kids go to the park
Every day.
after school every day. And she is just out there, take a picture. And I'm just sitting there like, girl, I am tired looking looking at your slide. How are you doing it? But I wanted to take a moment to just kind of show her love because also as a mom, she's like, I don't think that I get this right. I don't know. And I'm like, girl, your kids can choose their own movie. We don't have that. But I'm watching her honestly, and I, like I said, I'm gonna send this to her because watching her has helped me grow. So
Mm-hmm.
now, now I will watch some of the TV shows with him because it's about just like you said, just the intentional of it. Um, and as I'm speaking to you, the spirit is speaking to me because there are often times where he's just like, "Come watch me play." I'm like, I don't want to do that, so I don't. And I could just simply sit in his room and he could be playing, and I could, because he doesn't pay me any mind, and I'm
Nope.
very good. I'm so good with oh, that's nice. That is great. I have that on cue. I have those eyes set. So I can do that. So talking to you and having this conversation has definitely awakened something in my spirit. And just a reminder that this is let him play. Let him
Yeah.
play, let him enjoy life.
And so to go back to your friend that you just referenced, it's more than them just like picking a movie and being able to do what they want to do. Because a lot of my family members are like, your kids just do what they want to do, this, that, and the other. Or they may say, okay, where are you going for vacation this year? I don't know. DeMarcus is picking. That's my oldest. So my kids take turns picking our annual vacation.
Oh, that is
Um,
so nice.
yeah, so we intentionally make sure we take them on vacation every year. By the grace of God, we haven't missed the annual family vacation yet. But my
Amen.
kids picked the vacation. So this year my daughter picked the vacation and my family's like, we don't want to do a cruise. Well, she wants to do a cruise, so we're doing a cruise, you can come or not. So but that's building their confidence because we're so scared to speak up for ourselves, like
In
we're
their
scared what
voice.
people are gonna say. Right. So,
Yeah.
like a lot of people say, I don't like my voice. That's because we were shushed as a child. So you're letting them know their voice, hear their voice, giving them that confidence in all of that stuff. So I love to hear that people and parents are doing it. Like, let your kids, give them a choice, let them make that decision. We struggle so much with making decisions because we weren't allowed to. Let the kids make those
That part.
decisions.
That part, heavy on that part. And that's what I was going to mention earlier, but I was so busy in loving this moment with you and having a good time with you that I forgot to mention that. I think it's important for us to kind of do things differently so that we can get our voice back, so that we can give our kids a voice to have. And a lot of things that you're doing is the found. Hi, we have
Say
company.
hey.
Look, we're talking about you. This show is dedicated to you.
That's my
um
thing.
but having their voice and letting them be secure in who they are individually
Hold
is
on,
so
Dad.
important.
I hear you. I'm sorry.
I know. Listen, parents understand. We know parents have two ears.
Yeah.
It's good. We can hear and hear.
Can you step out just 1 second? Mommy's almost done, okay?
I'll give you mommy back in just a few minutes. And I'm not cutting that out because he's gonna get us views. That handsome face, he's gonna get us some views. So I'm not gonna keep you too much because I know that you have a lot going on, but I do wanna end this with just 3 tips that you can help a mom. It could be emotionally, it could be physically, whatever. Just 3 tips if you want to help a parent or mom just kind of get some insight in what they could do better to help their children have a better childhood. And don't forget to tell us how we can work with you.
Okay. So, 3 tips on being intentional and changing your child's childhood and ultimately changing their life in their adulthood. So, one is being intentional about spending time with them. So, I'll give you a challenge. Spend 15 minutes with your little ones after you watch this episode. Well, not even little ones, regardless of how old they are, whether they're in their 20s or they're 2 or 1, and you feel like, well, I can't do anything with them. Just sit there with them, watch them play, do a phone call, go have coffee, or just do something with them to where you're intentionally focused on them for 15 minutes. That's it. So number 2 would be to get outside with them. Go outside with them. Again, those can be a 2-for-1 where you go outside with them for 15 minutes. And then the last one is to take care of yourself. Unpack whatever you have in here, the traumatic experiences and things that you have. Get yourself together first to avoid your kids having to find themselves as adults. So those are the 3 things that I have. And then also you can find me everywhere on social media, the Activity Playhouse. My website is www.theactivityplayhouse.com. I have a bunch of resources for you all to download. I also have a quick start guide for you all where it teaches you just simple, quick ways to get started with being intentional and playing with your little ones. So you can also find it on my website, on my links in my bio. And then lastly, I have a podcast, of course, Let Kids Play, where I'm teaching parents under 5 with kids under 5 on how to be intentional with their time, how to understand their milestones and the developmental goals that they need, how to read to them, how to work on their fine motors, and just set that foundation to make sure they flourish and thrive as adults and our new future innovators.
Nayetta, I love you. I love what you're doing. You are creating generations of happy children, and happy children lead to a happy world. So I appreciate all that you do. I definitely want to have you back on. I mean, you're going to be a resident, I don't know, guest, because unpacking parenting and marriage are two of my favorite topics because they are the two that have worked me the most. So I'm constantly learning how to thrive and grow in the marital and parenting sector. And this conversation has really, and again, my oldest is 25 and I'm still learning how to parent. Like I'm still learning what to do and everything. So I thank you for this conversation.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on here.
Listen, I thank God for you. I don't say this with no joke and no smile at all. I am so blessed that I get to say that I know you as you grow. As you grow, because I am definitely gonna promote this and pump this. I mean, the world needs to know about the Activity Playhouse and Let Kids Play. And this is coming from a mom who has been mothering. And, you know, you're teaching me. You're teaching me. So I do know that you are speaking to moms with young kids, but you're really talking to many mothers. You know, it's never too late to fix whatever issue or whatever problem, whatever situation, however you were at parenting. I don't care if your child is 35. If you're still here and that kid is still here, they still need you as a parent. So it's never too late to learn and undo and unlearn and redo. Our kids deserve it. Our kids need it. And we owe it to them. We really owe it to them because we were gifted them. So Nayetta, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to share on my platform with me. I know that I already know everybody has watched this entire episode because listen, this was good. This was good. I am so mad I have to end it, but this was good. We'll come back for another episode because I really want to unpack some more on the importance of a happy child. Like I really want to kind of unpack that, and we can even go into our personal experiences of not being happy or kind of how it showed up in adulthood and helping parents understand that right now it's so important when your kids are still young to pour into them so that they can have a happy life, because we all know as adults, it don't get no easier. It's not getting
it get harder.
It gets harder and harder every year, but by the grace of God, we are still here with a smile. So Nayetta, thank you so much for being here. Again, make sure that you follow Nayetta on Instagram under Activity Playhouse, right? Activity Playhouse. Make sure that you tap in with her. Great information. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this episode. Share this episode to every parent, not just moms, but every parent. Women, men that want to become parents, they may not have children yet. Send it to grandparents because grandparents are still parents and they can learn some things too. Share this episode. This was a good one. I've just started and this is definitely a fade. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the Belle brand. We are a family owned and operated business. Make sure that you tap in. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram, My Perfected Imperfections. Come on. And listen, before I even end this episode, let me remind you, this is yet another person from the morning meetup. These are conversations that we are having Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. every day. I learned about this beautiful woman based in this community. I am going to be able to watch her grow and shoot off. And I get to say, that's my friend. That's
Same.
my girl. So listen, you do not want to miss out on a community of builders and makers and life changers. You do not want to miss out on a community. Life changers, okay? You do not want to miss out on this community. So make sure that you tap in to the morning meetup. We are here to support. You see the conversations that we have. We need these. We need more of these, and that's the only way we can get better, because we can heal the world one person at a time. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Nayetta, thank you for being here. I thank you for your support. And until next time, peace.